Hey guys, Camman here, and in this video I'm reviewing LEGO SpiderMan set 76174, Spider-Man's Monster Truck vs. Mysterio. This set contains 439 pieces and retails for $40. Let's start off with a look at the minifigs. So the first figure here is the 2021 Spider-Man minifig, which has a slightly updated head print and torso print, and also arm printing, which is kind of the most prominent update. It is some nice arm printing, however the color is a little bit off. And unfortunately, there is no printing or dual molding on the legs, but there's some nice printing all around the head and the torso, and on the back as well. Then for his accessory, he just kind of comes with this string of webbing with those web pieces in that clear color. And then next up is Spider-Gwen, or Ghost Spider, and she has the same head print and torso print that her previous minifigures have had. However, she has that new hood piece in white, which is a really cool another color to get this hood piece in. Unfortunately, there is no arm printing or leg printing, but there is some nice back torso printing. However, there is no back head printing. This figure also just kind of has a string of various web pieces, including some more of those in clear. Next up is Mysterio in a more classic looking costume, which actually did appear in a set last year. However, the fishbowl piece is actually in a new color, a light blue with actually a bit of sparkling going on, which is cool. Just some plain green legs, and that nice magenta colored cape, and also some Power Blast pieces in a bright green, which is really cool. This figure does not have a face underneath, but just an unprinted light bluish gray head. Then this figure does actually have some back torso printing just underneath the cape there. Then this figure also kind of comes with this swirling fog base in green, which is actually a recolor of a piece from Hidden Side. And it is a very cool piece, especially for Mysterio and in that green color. There's just a place for him at the top, and then also some anti-studs on the bottom of it there. And the last figure of this set is Doc Ock, and he has these massive tentacle arms. So I'm going to show you those first, and then just show you the figure by himself in a minute. Each arm build is identical, and just all attached to this back piece here, that Outrider piece. They all just clip in there, so you can kind of move them back and forth like so. And then they all have these ball joints, so you can rotate them around. There's also a sticker on each one at the base. Then in the center of each one is just kind of that green orb piece. And then each of these kind of finger claws, I guess, I don't really know, but you can pose each one of them as they are on clips, and then you can just kind of rotate this thing individually of the arm. And like I said, each one is identical. However, these bottom ones are at a slightly different angle than the top ones, and they can kind of like swing upward like that from the clip. So a good thing about this figure is if you do kind of want to pose it well, you can take these bottom ones and just flatten them out like that, and then you could probably get a decent pose with him. So here you can see a pretty cool looking pose with those claws holding him off of the ground. But here's the figure with that whole back attachment removed. He actually has a new head and torso, which is pretty cool. Really love the printing on each one of those. Then for his accessories, he has this bag and a clear gem. There's also some back torso printing, and he does have an alternate face, which you can see here. So here is Spider-Man's monster truck, the actual main build of this set. It's actually quite large. The wheels especially give it a lot of elevation, and there you can see a minifigure compared to it. However, the actual size of this truck part up top is only 6 studs wide, but of course factoring in the tires, it gets a lot bigger. And on the front here, there's a couple stickers, one for the license plate, then just one there, and then also that one up top on the roof, as well as some lights up on the roof. And as you could kind of see there, the main feature of this build is that it can kind of rock back and forth like so, which is a pretty cool feature. Moving along though, on the side here, there's a side view mirror, this little yellow knob, which actually when you turn, lifts a net shooter or a web shooter out of the top, which I will get to in just a minute. Then also on the side here are a couple more stickers with a logo there. And then on the back, there's just some brake lights, another license plate, and engine piece, strangely enough. And then the other side is pretty much identical, minus the little yellow knob. Then also, as you can see here, there are some stickers on the inside of the tires. But anyways, like I demonstrated before, by just kind of pulling on this yellow knob, you can raise and lower this web shooter on top. So you can kind of see how that function works there. Just some Technic pieces just lift that up like so. And then when it's up, you can just kind of push on this back piece here and shoot that webbing out. And the webbing is, of course, just this round net piece colored in white. And since it is so elevated, you can actually get some decent range with it. And the net does kind of unfold. And then just to load it, you just kind of fold the net back up and just cram it right back into that shooter, and then you can lower it down. Then in the actual driving compartment, you just remove the roof, and there is a steering wheel, and that's pretty much it. Nothing really else inside of there. So that's really all there is to this vehicle. There's not really much to see on the underside, unless you kind of want to get a closer look at how that mechanism works there, but yeah, that's pretty much it for this build, but there are a couple side builds that we'll take a look at right now. So there are actually two identical Mysterio drone builds in this set, and then just this purple skateboard for Spider-Gwen, which I'm just going to go to move aside because there's not really too much to see with that. So these drones are actually really cool and well detailed. There's a couple stickers on top, some binoculars, which I'm assuming represent guns, as well as those guns attached on the front, and then there's some stud shooters on the side, so these are very well armed. It's a pretty cool build, too, all around. That's what it looks like from underneath. But not really too much else. Like I said, these are both identical builds, no differentiation there. So let's go ahead and move on to the spare pieces and then finish up this review. So here are all the spare pieces for the set. There's all the regular spares here, and then also some extra webbing and some extra goods for Doc Ock to steal. And then some spare studs for the stud shooters on the drones. And then here's the sticker sheet for the set. It's a pretty big one. So overall, this isn't actually that bad of a set, besides the fact that it doesn't really make any sense. Like, why would Spider-Man need a monster truck? But the build is pretty solid, and the figures in this set are just fantastic. So I'd rate this one 8 classic smiley faces out of 10. What are your thoughts on this set, though? Feel free to share in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, consider subscribing to my channel. Thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you next time.